What up? Welcome back to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name is Colin, and today I'll be talking about, I think, 7 or 8 NBA basketball games, 0 of which I actually watched. I think from doing this, I'm starting to realize that maybe I don't enjoy the game of basketball quite as much as I thought I did. I think I obviously really enjoy it a lot, to even have the desire to talk about it on a frequent to daily to weekly basis, or whatever I end up getting to on a given week or day or whatever with this podcast. But I think I just have other interests, like I'm busy at work. My work has ramped up quite a bit and making it difficult today I really had to focus on what I was doing, and I had to listen to a lot of the editing that I was doing. So that makes it really difficult to watch a game, and with any, to watch a game and actually focus on what's happening, and come up with things to talk about and things like nuanced parts of the game to break down. But I just have other interests. Today I was at the times that I could listen to or watch things while I was editing, I was watching random YouTube videos. I watched a 45-year-old man, a 28 or 29-year-old overweight woman, and I watched 3 vloggers do a fucking mukbang. I don't know why I'm watching that, but there's something enjoyable about it, I guess. And I definitely could have been watching basketball games, but I didn't. But I'm going to attempt to talk about the games that happened last night in the NBA just by watching, or just by going through the box score. It could be a little experimental thing to, I guess, see how far I can dive into things just by looking at the box score. I'm on the NBA website right now, and the NBA website does a really good job of, there's all kinds of different content to read and listen to and watch. And on the right side at the top, there's the latest around the NBA, and there's 6 little bullet points. There are probably 2 of them are videos, and the others are stories. And there's just a lot, I guess, to draw from. So I'm going to start with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Charlotte Hornets, a game that I actually did watch a little bit of. I was at a couple meetings last night for the radio station and watched a couple of these games. No, I didn't. I watched the Bucks and the Hornets for maybe 10 minutes while I was at one of these meetings, and it was only half paying attention, really, waiting on the box score to pull up. Okay, so 20 points from Antetokounmpo, 14 from Middleton. Brook Lopez hit a shot last night while I was watching, a 3 that was a foot to 2 feet behind the NBA line, maybe even 3 feet behind the NBA line. But he kind of stepped back, and he kind of was fading a little bit, and it looked really smooth and went straight through the net. It was the only 3 he made last night, 1 of 4 from the field. But Brook Lopez had 15, and I don't want to say, I'm not going to go overboard and say that he's a big reason why the Bucks are playing really well, but he has improved so much, even from last year when he was playing with the Lakers. Malcolm Brogdon, their whole starting lineup was in double figures. Brogdon had 11, Eric Bledsoe had 17, and then they got 15 from Pat Connaughton off the bench. And what other things this is sort of difficult. 9 rebounds for Middleton, 13 rebounds for Antetokounmpo, 8 for Brook Lopez, 8 for Malcolm Brogdon. They had good help in rebounding. I was going to say from the guards, but Eric Bledsoe only had 1 rebound. Okay, and then Charlotte, 21 from Lamb, 21 from Walker, 21 for Kemba Walker is really pedestrian. 16 from Marvin Bagley, and the Hornets won. The Hornets won 110 to 107. I don't remember if I said that or not, but they won and got 21 points from Kemba Walker. 15 from Tony Parker off the bench in 21 minutes. That's really impressive. for the old man. Miles Bridges only had 5, was 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range, 1 rebound, no assists, no turnovers, no steals, 2 blocks. Miles Bridges, I don't think he's played horrible to start the season, but I guess he's a rookie, so that you got to give him a little bit of time. But I haven't been too impressed with what I've seen, read about, or anything from Miles Bridges. I did watch one Shacked and a Fool segment that he was in, so that's never a good thing to be on Shacked and a Fool. Okay, the next game is the Timberwolves and the Cleveland Cavaliers. 102-95 was the final score. The Timberwolves won. Just at quick glance, 24 from Covington. I haven't seen a Timberwolves game. I haven't watched one since the Jimmy Butler trade, but Jimmy Butler, obviously, I think that was Sunday night that he hit a game winner against, I don't remember who. He hit a game winner against Brooklyn, and that was after Dob and I had recorded the podcast for Monday, and Jimmy Butler has now hit 2 huge game winners I don't know about huge, but they're regular season game winners over in both cases, I think pretty mediocre to mid-level teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't remember who the first game winner. The first game winner was over the Hornets, which is a mid-level Western Conference team. But I haven't watched a Timberwolves game since that trade, but it seems like Robert Covington is fitting in fine. Saric is coming off the bench, played 18 minutes, had 9 points, was 4 of 10 from the field, 6 rebounds, and a plus 15 plus minus. So it seems like they're both adapting pretty well. I don't think that's too crazy. I don't think that's something that people thought that they'd have trouble doing. But Andrew Wiggins had 11, Karl Anthony Towns 21. They spread the scoring out pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, 5 guys, 4 of them in the starting lineup were in double figures. And then Cleveland, their leading scorer was Kyle Korver off the bench, 22 points in 21 minutes, 7 of 12 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. That's one of the better games Kyle Korver has probably played all season. They got 20 from Rodney Hood, 16 from Tristan Thompson, whose scoring has gone up significantly this season just because he wasn't necessarily even allowed to shoot last year with LeBron on the team. Colin Sexton at 11 points in 38 minutes, 5 of 19 from the field is pretty abysmal. 0 of 3 from the 3-point line, and that's kind of what you knew you would get from Colin Sexton. To me, that was a really stupid draft pick. He's not a shooter, and the league is a shooting league, so I didn't really understand that draft pick from the very beginning, especially when you're trying to keep LeBron James in town. Now, I don't think anyone they would have drafted would have kept LeBron in town, but I don't know. They certainly could have done a better job than that, I think. The next game is the Houston Rockets and the Wizards. I saw a story about this game. This was probably the most interesting game of the night that went into overtime. John Wall had 36 points, 11 assists. James Harden had 54 points on 17 of 32 shooting, 53% from the field, 7 of 15 from 3, 46% from 3. Went to the free throw line. Well, I guess whatever half of 15 is. It's not necessarily half. He may have only shot 1 free throw. I'm assuming there were a couple trips where he only shot 1, but 13 of 15 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, so a near triple-double and 50-point game for James Harden and a loss. And that kind of is a microcosm of the Rockets. They score a shit ton of points. Eric Gordon had 36 points. Clint Capella 17. So, they play well, but they just don't defend enough to win the game and give up 135 points on a night that they score 131. And to a team in the Wizards who is going through some stuff right now, to say the least, and I guess let's look at their box score. 36 for John Wall, 32 for Bradley Beal. I saw a picture of them chest bumping, although it's pretty easy to put any of the beef and turmoil to the side for a game against one of the teams that will likely finish towards the top of the Western Conference by the time the season's over. But I think, to say the least, it's probably a really good win to move forward for the Wizards. But Jeff Green had 13 off the bench. Markieff Morris had 22 off the bench. Both shot above 66%. Markieff 66% and Jeff Green 83% from the field. Oubre only had 4. Four, and he shot 28% from the field. I've never been really Oubre. Just, I guess I don't need to talk about Kelly Oubre Jr. San Antonio Spurs beat the Bulls 108-107. Rudy Gay only had 8 points. LaMarcus Aldridge 20, DeMar DeRozan 21, Bryn Forbes 13, 3 of 6 from 3. Bryn Forbes is I obviously didn't see him play, but it's good to. I just love that Bryn Forbes is successful. He seems like a really overall great dude that just was kind of I've spoke about this before. That was really unexpected to play this well in the NBA, but that just goes to show what a guy can do with the right personality to fit that if they find and fit into the right system. The Spurs, I'm gonna hold off on looking at standings for now, but I think the Spurs at 10-10 are probably right in the middle still of the Western Conference. Last time I looked was on Sunday with Dobb. 18 for Jabari Parker for the Bulls, 17 for Holiday, only 8 for Wendell Carter Jr., and 6 rebounds for the big guy. There's a lot of rookie. I think thus far a lot of the rookies have been kind of underwhelming. Zach LaVine had 28. Ryan, I don't know who that is. Ryan Arcidiacono. There's no N there. Ryan Arcidiacono. Holy crap. Ryan Arcidiacono had 22 on 8 of 12 shooting, 4 of 6 from the field. So shot the ball. I don't know who the hell that is, and he's starting for the Bulls. That's interesting. Okay, the next game is a game that I did watch just a small portion of, the Celtics and the Pelicans. This is a game that I was actually quite intrigued to watch, but it was on. Was it on too late for me? No, I just was doing other stuff, sort of. This was on. I think I caught a little bit of the third quarter when I got back from my meetings. Jason Tatum had 20, Al Horford had 20, Kyrie Irving 26, Marcus Morris 19. They spread the scoring out really well. Terry Rozier had 14 off the bench. Gordon Hayward is now coming off the bench, and Marcus Morris did now start. Dobb and I talked about them starting Aaron Baines over Marcus Morris, and now Marcus Morris is starting at the power forward, which I think makes a lot more sense, and I think that's probably where they'll go moving forward. But interesting that Gordon Hayward is now coming off the bench, still playing 23 minutes, and he shot the ball, relatively well, 2 of 5 from 3, or 2 of 5 from the field, and 1 of 2 from 3. Wait, how does that work if he had 5 points? He made a 3, that's 3 points, and he made 2 field goals. Oh, the field goals is threes are included in field goals. That makes sense. And then he probably went to the free throw line. Nope, didn't go to the free throw line. Huh. That's a little confusing. Anyways, my math's probably just off because I suck at math. Kyrie Irving, though, led them in scoring. I want to look at who's leading that team in scoring here in a second after I look at the Pelicans. Well, after I get through the other games, but after I look at the Pelicans box score, Davis had 27, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, but 5 turnovers. He really does handle the ball a lot more than it's wild that he's considered their power forward and that Mirotic is considered their center. I think it's definitely the other way around, but Mirotic continues to have a really, really good season. 25 points for him on 8 of 15 shooting, 6 of 11 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, but negative 12 in plus minus. Jrue Holiday had a pretty pedestrian game, 13 points, 50% shooting from the field and from 3. 7 assists, but 8 turnovers is way, way too many, especially against a good team like the Celtics. So now the Celtics are now 11-10, and the Pelicans are now 10-11. Those are two teams that should probably be playing, and that started off playing a little better, but have dwindled off considerably in the last 5 to 6 games. And the last game, nope, not the last game, the Pacers and the Jazz. The Pacers won 121-88. The Jazz have really, really fallen off. They're 9 of 12 now. The Pacers are 12-8. Their leading scorer was Doug McDermott off the bench. Wow, they spread the scoring around really well. 15 for Bogdanovich, 16 for Turner, 14 for Tyreke Evans, who is now starting, although Victor Oladipo is out. That's probably the only reason he's starting. But they've won, I think Victor Oladipo has been out for maybe 5 or 6 games, and they've won a good amount of those games with him on the bench, which is a really great sign for them. I think they're maybe 3rd in the East right now, and they could. I mean, it's the East, but they could shock some people in the East. They may win a series or two in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But they also got 13 from Corey Joseph off the bench. Sabonis had 13 off the bench. Doug McDermott led them in scoring, like I said, with 21 off the bench on 61% shooting and 66% 2 of 3 from 3. And then Aaron Holiday had 12 points off the bench as well. Utah has been playing pretty horribly, like I said, although I just got a notification earlier today that Donovan Mitchell is back in the rotation or close to being back in the rotation, and I don't remember what his injury was, but Ingles has only had 10, Favors 13, Rudy Gobert 12. They spread the scoring. They spread the scoring around a lot. Grayson Allen had 5 off the bench, 6 off the bench, 9 off the bench for Exum, Crowder 9, Burks 5, Rubio 6, Royce O'Neal 8. They just got a lot of players scored, which is actually a really positive thing, but they got their ass kicked. That goes to show you that in the NBA, it's almost better to have your 1 or 2 main scorers that can get it. Because if everybody scores, 5 to 10 points, that's great that you can spread the scoring around, and that makes guarding your entire team more difficult. But I don't think anybody, got something stuck in my throat. I don't think one particular guy is necessarily going to get in the rhythm that is necessary to get into the NBA and to win games. And then the last game is the Warriors and the Magic, 116-110. Another win for the Warriors without Draymond. Is Draymond back in the lineup? Draymond's still out. And so is Steph Curry, although I hear Steph Curry, I didn't hear anything. I got a notification that I think Steph Curry is going to be back soon. Durant had 49 though. Klay Thompson had 29. It's crazy that they've got 2 stars out, and you kind of almost are like, oh, they've got 2 stars out. Maybe they'll lose some games. And they did lose some games there right after the Draymond suspension / injury thing or whatever. But Klay Thompson can still get you 50 on any night, really. Had 29 last night on 11 of 23 shooting, 6 of 12 from 3, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. And Durant was 48% shooting, 40% shooting from the 3-point line, and 13 of 13 from the free throw line, and also had 9 assists and 6 rebounds. And then I think what's the guy, the guy that's having a great year, Nikola Vucevic for the Magic, had 30 on 57% shooting from the field, and 6 assists, 12 rebounds. I think Vucevic could be a freaking all-star, which is is random as hell, but as of right now, I think Vucevic would probably be an all-star as far as like the coaches' votes go. But Terrence Ross is playing really well off the bench for the Magic. Had 28 last night. Jonathan Isaac also had 15, and Mo Bamba came in 15 minutes and put up 11 points on 66% shooting, and actually was 2 of 2 from 3. Dob and I were watching the Lakers game on Sunday that the Magic. Oh, that's right, the fucking Magic beat the Lakers. The Lakers looked horrible. It looked awful, and that I don't know. They're really hit or miss, and that it was kind of to be expected since they're a young team. And even though LeBron's in town, I don't know. You're gonna get that from time to time. But the Magic are playing really well. I think a lot better than people may have expected. Certainly that I expected them to play this season. I'm surprised Terrence Ross doesn't start. Terrence Ross is like a 2 guard. I guess Evan Fournier is playing really well, and maybe Terrence Ross is better suited coming off the bench. The Clippers did not play last night, but I'm going to take a look at the standings because I know that they are atop the West still at 13-6, trailed by. I don't know how this works because the Clippers are 13-6 and they're first, and the Warriors are 15-7. I guess it goes by win percentage. So the Clippers' win percentage is .684, and Golden State's is .682. Denver's third. Memphis drops from 2 to fourth. Oklahoma City is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Portland 6. LA 7. So LA is in the playoff hunt, but New Orleans has fallen way back. The Jazz have fallen to second to last in the West. That's wild. The Rockets are third to last. Hornets fourth last. Minnesota. There's a lot of wow. I think the Clippers though are by far the biggest surprise of the year. And then in the East, 17-4 are the Toronto Raptors, 14-6. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Sixers are now in third. They jumped over the Pacers. The Pacers are now fourth. Pistons fifth. Boston has moved up to sixth. Yeah. What else do I got? I think that might be it. I don't know if that was interesting at all. I think reading off the box score is maybe pretty boring. Who's playing tonight? The Knicks and the Pistons. This is what I would love to say that I'm like a basketball purist. I would love to be able to say that any basketball game that's on, I'm watching that shit. But I feel like I'm too. This is gonna sound really fucking cocky, or just really conceited. But I'm too diverse of a person to just watch a basketball game to watch it because I told myself that I'm gonna talk about basketball. Like I don't need to watch the Knicks and the Pistons. I don't need to watch the Hawks and the Heat. The Raptors and the Grizzlies are 2 teams atop the West and the East, but that doesn't really interest me that much. The Lakers and the Nuggets do because LeBron James is playing, and the Pacers and the Suns, I won't be able to watch that because it'll be blocked out in Indiana because that's my region. But none of those games really interest me. So here's the ones I think I'll obviously watch the Lakers and the Nuggets. My goal is to not miss a single Lakers game this season, and I'll probably watch the Raptors and the Grizzlies. But that may be it. Maybe I'll just get to 2. I guess I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about Markelle Fultz, the whole trade rumor thing. Dob and I talked about it a little bit on Sunday, but as more stuff continues to happen and news continues to come out, I just don't see why you would why you would take Markelle Fultz. It doesn't make any sense to me actually. With just all the unknowns, and clearly I talked earlier about seeing what the leash would be for Markelle Fultz as far as the Sixers go, especially now that they've got Jimmy Butler and they're in win now mode, because it looks like maybe they could win the East. The Celtics aren't playing as well as they maybe everybody thought they were going to play, and I think that they'll get it together here as the season continues, but especially because the Celtics are in win right now mode. It doesn't surprise me that, I can't say what I would have done, but I probably would have taken Jason Tatum over Markelle Fultz. I don't think that people really thought Jason Tatum was going to turn out to be what he was last year in the playoffs, and certainly has been thus far in this season. But now, obviously, with hindsight bias, it's really easy for me to say that, but I'm not surprised that the Sixers are considering trading him, but I was curious as to what their leash would be and how long they would try to see if they could make this thing work out with him. But with all the indecision and just all the unknowns around Fultz, I really don't know who is going to take him. I'm going to breeze through the rest of the news. Cousins expects to return after Christmas. That's a really exciting new storyline, I guess, in the NBA. Something to keep an eye on. Curry to begin practicing next week, so maybe he's not as close as I thought he was. But I think I'm out. I think I'm about to shave my head, because I can do anything.